Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. One of the most important issues in the world today, if not the most important issue, is the issue of the environment, of the climate, of the soil, of water, and of food. If you want to be healthy, you have to have healthy food that was grown in living soil. And in our Islamic tradition, we have a very rich legacy of taking care of the earth, of living tectonically, living in a way that fits the earth and that loves the earth and takes care of it.
Wilderness is the healing place. It is the great mosque, as some have said. It teaches us that we are part of something much greater, and it is always a place to become humble and also to be aware that there's much beauty and much that we don't understand.
The Prophet Muhammad, upon him be blessings and peace, is described in the Quran as a mercy to all beings. And what a wonderful phrase that is, Rahmatun lil Alameen, a mercy to all beings. There are many, many different ways that this mercy was manifested. On the one hand, it was He who taught us that anyone who plants a tree or sows a field, and humans or birds or animals eat from it, that will be reckoned on the Day of Judgment as charity from Him.
Really, in tending to land, the goal isn't to extract some sort of output or yield to produce things. That this tending to land is a means by which we are able to perfect ourselves, that we're able to refine our character, that we are able to fully realize what it is to be human. Instead of looking at ourselves being apart or separate from the way that nature is functioning and what nature does, we are just another expression of the divine attributes that are embodied in this assembly of living elements, living and non-living elements. We're a part of a body. We're part of the terrestrial body.
How did the Andalusians create an agricultural system that made the land thrive? They created waterworks, which is well known in Spain and Portugal, that is still working today. Often the people who make them work are in fact the descendants of those very people that built them, as is the case, for example, in parts of southern Spain. One of the reasons why this happened was because the prophetic religion of Islam believed in giving easy access to land. So easy access to land, intelligent land policies. We have policies of green zones, protected areas. The cities had to be garden cities, for example. We emphasize the importance of land, water, and food production. Food production is an act of resistance. Food production, growing your own food, is a revolutionary act. And of course, you want to do it with good soil. The Andalusians understood this very well, and with the coming of Islam, one of the first revolutions that it brought about was an agrarian revolution. And a lot of the techniques they used are techniques that are being studied and used today in permaculture. Learning how to listen to the land, learning how to live with nature, composting, terracing, and good design for the land, ways of catching the water and using the water which is already there. So the Moorish agriculture of Spain and Portugal under the Muslims is well known for having been one of the most sophisticated of all.
There are a number of surveys of history that inform us of the connection between civilizational outcomes and whether or not we are serving this function in cultivating and caring for and forming a partnership with landscape. And invariably, these histories, these historical surveys show that civilizations fail in correspondence to their inability to be able to take care of land, their inability to form a relationship, or broker a partnership with landscape. And land will tell the truth about ourselves in spite of what it is that we would like to say or believe about ourselves. At this point in history, I think given human beings being fully rendered into an industrial product, we are products of industrial civilization. We have been shaped by the ideas that have brought us industrialization, in which the universe, the earth, has been de-spiritualized. It's been de-sacralized. And if the earth and the universe is nothing but material to manipulate and use to our own ends, then anything goes.
We are on the verge, if God does not help us, of one of the greatest extinctions that human beings have seen since the dinosaur. This is the product of what our hands have wrought. I think one of the most important things that we learned in this Zawiyah and that we hope to be able to put into practice is the fact that when the land is destroyed, when you take the organs of the earth out of the earth, that we can actually put them back and we can regenerate the soil. We can do that, and it's actually not very difficult to do. We can save these areas that have been turned into desert. And this has to do with techniques, many of which are very old. Some of them are modern scientific interpretations of those techniques. So we have to be hopeful. We can regenerate the earth, bi-iznillahi ta'ala, but it's very important for us to develop the kind of consciousness and knowledge and the kind of community that understands the importance of this and does it.
Everyone here is here because they are concerned about the issues, about connection with the earth. But so many seem not to have had much experience in person. So many I talk to have grown up in cities, and people said that I've never fallen asleep outdoors before. To see, not at all to my surprise, to see how people's hearts and minds open when they really touch the dirt and participate in working with plants, working with animals, walking on a mountain, getting tired, seeing eagles in the wild, seeing small plants, really feeling what it is that we're in our hearts, and in our bodies, as well as understanding and learning intellectually and academically.
I think my experience so far has been totally transformative. Just being around brothers and sisters who have similar aims has been really inspiring. It's taken me kind of out of a really dry, hopeless place, and it's like kind of this whole week has added water to that dry, hopeless place and has inspired me in so many ways.
I think that one of the most valuable lessons we learned here was that cultivating yourself is a part of cultivating the earth, and improving yourself is the first step on that road that we all have to go on. And so, once you turn your gaze inward and you focus on how you can improve yourself, that's when you can really start making the world a better place.
My intention this year has been to reconnect to the land and to animals and to cultivate that relationship because I think that's what Muslims truly need today. We're suffering so much trauma. I'm originally Syrian. You know, there's a lot of suffering there, and just being able to connect with the earth allows you to heal.
In order to heal the earth, we have to heal ourselves. When we learn to cultivate soil and to make it live again, we are actually cultivating ourselves. And the earth heals us just as we want to heal it. And one of the things that's very important to note here also is the fact that whatever we are in ourselves, whatever we believe, it manifests itself in the world around us.
I've learned so much, and inshallah I also have the intention to go back to Morocco at the farm and to share this knowledge, to apply it. First, to digest all the things that I've learned. It was really intense. One of the things that I really appreciate was when you learn, you understand your connection with the earth and with nature. And I strongly believe that nature can heal people. And I've personally experienced that. I went through a lot of difficulties and pain in my life. And the only thing that could appease my heart was being in nature, being in contact with the earth, and yeah, alhamdulillah, I feel really grateful and happy and honored to be here and to meet all these people.
I have learned many things, but perhaps to mention something in particular, something that has been very striking for me, is reflecting about how we can create communities that are self-sufficient, that are close to nature, that are also a way to become true human beings in this kind of mad system in which we are living in, without being completely isolated, but also at the same time being self-sufficient, you know. And as we have seen here, this idea cannot be realized without not only a contact with nature, but an ability to grow our own food.
Practically speaking, I think right now I'm feeling like I need to get land, and I need to also just hone in on the skills that I find that I have a higher aptitude for, and be able to be an asset to others so that we can trade and barter and share our knowledge with each other, inshallah.
Since I was a kid, I have always dreamed about having a farm and putting all my family in that farm. And so it's taken a while, about 40 years, and now I have bought my farm, and we are trying to build a permaculture farm over there. And I'm including my family. We're building earth homes, and we're living with animals, and we're planting plants, and inshallah we're trying to be the stewards of the world the way we are meant to be.
One of my favorite quotes comes from Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he said, if you are ignorant of a thing, don't be afraid to admit your ignorance. And once you've admitted your ignorance, don't be afraid to learn about it. And I think this is really at the heart of what we are trying to encourage people to do, is to learn about these things, inform yourself. And one very important point is that you're not going to do this alone. And this is an opportunity for us to be able to reform, to reconfigure, to come together as a community, and to rethink our way of thinking about community. And this is going to be the future. And conditions are going to force us to have to seriously consider this, and not only consider it, but actually move to action.
Every single being in the world is an ayah, a sign, a portent, an emblem of God. of the Lord of all beings. Now this word ayah, it's the same word that is used for the verses of the Quran, so that many scholars will explain this as we have the book of the Quran, Al-Kitab al-Mastur, that has these written ayahs, these verses, these signs for us to follow. And there's also the observed book, Al-Kitab al-Manzur, the book of nature. All the different creatures, the mountains, the seas, the clouds, the skies, the insects, the mammals, the birds, the animals, all of these are ayahs, signs that point beyond themselves to the Lord and Sustainer of all, and are full of ibar, lessons for us to learn.
بارك الله فيك حفظك الله